there, ChickChat.
Hi.
Hey. Well, yeah, we are back with Love is Blind. This is the 6th episode drop they decided to bombard us with on Valentine's Day. What the hell's going on? Sorry, my dogs.
It really did feel like a bombardment.
It was. I mean, I wasn't expecting 6 episodes of the pods, which makes me feel a little violated.
Sad. Yeah, I feel sad. I feel really sad about the whole thing.
Yeah, I was hoping at least for 1 or 2 episodes in Mexico, but apparently some of y'all really want to see them connections in the pods. You know, I'm fine with them showing me more connections in the pods. I just was tuning out half the time they were in the pods. Honestly, it was too much pods for me.
Yeah, if there was more drama in the pods, like there has been some times that in some of the women's quarters or the men's quarters, there's been some things going on with some of the love triangles and squares. I'm interested to see that. I'm really here for the drama at this point. I know that the audience is sort of torn between trying to see love unfold and see drama unfold. And I think there's definitely room for both. But personally, I'm here for the drama. So I wouldn't mind seeing more of that go on if we're going to be stuck in the pods for 6 episodes. There was nothing there. There was one love square triangle.
One.
There was nothing else there for us to sit and focus on for 7 hours because every single episode was almost an hour and 10 minutes. Some were even longer than that. I don't know. I'm really sad because I do love Love is Blind, but I just don't know how to feel.
Yeah, I think the show's kind of low-key dying. I just think that it's just getting more boring. I think we've seen everything there's nothing new here. I mean, the only thing that would have been great is if Homegirl would have said she was trans instead of lesbian. That would have been amazing for the show. Yeah, would have been great. But I just feel like it's just been so played out. I mean, we've seen a little bit of everything. We've seen even people already know each other before coming into the pods. Uche. You know, we've seen all this before.
I know. So nothing exciting happened. And I know we'll probably talk about this more towards the end, or I don't know when we'll talk about this, but I mean, the biggest thing that happened was right at the end when somebody thinks that their partner knew who they were. But I don't know if I even believe that.
I know it's hard. We'll get to it. But yeah. We'll get over there. But let's meet our midwestern friends in Minnesota. Apparently, I was really thinking this was about to take place in Detroit because of some of the people's accents and stuff. But I guess we really kind of sound like them people. So
we do sound like them, and you would think with them being this being a midwestern season that we might relate to them more. But I don't know. I think Detroit really needs to come and save this whole thing.
Yeah, it was too whitewashed for me as well. Like, I think that's when I realized we weren't in Detroit, is when I saw way too many white people. I was like, okay, this isn't Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's Minnesota. They're white up there. But
yeah. Well, who would you like to start with? I think we'll start with all the unproblematics. And we'll end up on our little love square triangle thing. Possible. Okay. I don't know. Who would you like to start with? I'm going to add the Lachey's into the conversation. We do get them again.
Yeah, I do like that outfit, shockingly.
That's one of the few outfits of hers that I've ever thought, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Usually she's wearing shiny cloths and
trash cans and all kinds of things. Trash bags.
I think she's seen too many people make fun of her outfits. So now she's got a stylist.
Right. So we could cover the love square triangle that wasn't, because a lot of those people didn't actually become legit couples.
Right.
And then we could get into the couples, or we could go the other way around.
Well, I think first thing I want to mention is these are the people we saw at the Ultimatum reunion. I had no idea who I was looking at. So they didn't even show me them.
I did see that online the other day too. Why are they so snuggled up? They're not together.
None of them. Actually, I think the guys are more together than her, but
What does that mean?
I don't know. I wish he would have kept that clip of Fabio with his little toothbrush there. But I think, you know what? Let us start. You know, I'm gonna start with them, but you said start with like an almost couple.
Well, we could go over those almost couples, get them out of the way since it's the
Who the
last
hell
time.
even are they?
Well, there's Meg and Mason,
Okay.
who I thought were a wonderful match. That they just decided
Well, I feel like they'll be more towards the end because there's that whole little square going on there. I feel like there's more to talk about with them.
Right. Well, because then it's like Mason and Madison and Mason and Meg, and then Madison
Too many M's.
And then Madison and Alex, which also didn't happen.
We could just start with my unproblematic couple right here, actually.
Your favorites.
My favorite. These are my favorite.
What do you have to say about them? Because I've got nothing.
Well, that's why I'm starting with them, bitch. So we're going to start with these unproblematic people. I thought they were really cute. I don't remember her name. So if anybody can help me in the
Monica. It's Monica.
Monica and Fabio. I've been calling him Fabio, but then she called him Tarzan, so I'm going to be going like in between.
Joey, which is also fitting, by the way.
Where is my little... Right here. Mr. Fabio.
It looks just like him.
He does. Looks just like him. Could be cousins. Could be his uncle or
be brothers.
Father. Yeah, and then look at him in Tarzan. I mean, they're all the same. Like, they're the same. He's the same.
She kind of looks like David's girl, the Tarzan girl.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
So we just see them very briefly. They don't focus on them very much. I think we saw them. There might have been one of the first dates that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving like Alexis Brennan, Lauren Cameron. Like they don't focus on the actual stable couples. So I'm hoping that that's what this is. I'm hoping this is our like one and only stable couple probably in this whole show. But I have a lot of hope here. I mean, their reveal was adorable.
It was super cute. Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of like myself in a way. Like if I was to be on this show, I would be hysterically laughing, unable to control myself. What's going on? Right. They were both like instantly excited and hyper, and they were just feeding off each other's energy.
I do think that they will be fun to watch on their vacation. Yeah. I did think one of their dates was really hilarious when they were talking about the movie The Sound of Music, and she had brought up that that's her favorite movie, and he was hysterical because I guess he used to be stuck at his grandma's house or something, and she was obsessed with that.
Dear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really just funny connection.
Yeah. I thought that their
whole little reveal look how cute. Funny.
I know what was those Hello Kitty or penguins or something?
I think they look like little Christmas penguins to me.
They do look like little Christmas penguins.
I know this was filmed in probably right after Christmas. I think
one of
something about Valentine's Day.
Yeah, one of the dates was Happy Valentine's Day. I think the proposal day was on Valentine's Day.
You're right. I think it was. You are correct. And they were also referring one of the couples to the wedding day being in late March.
But Monica loved his hair. She loved his scruff. She loved his Tarzan looking ass.
Yeah, I mean, what's there not to like? I think he's pretty cute.
She was pleasantly surprised. Look at her. She was so excited. They both
so cute.
Livestrong bracelets on and stuff too. Like they both even had, I don't know, maybe that's the bracelet they got to wear to get in here because it looks like they're both wearing the same one. It looks like a little Livestrong bracelet. The green.
Yeah, didn't they make a comment about that or something? Maybe I missed the reference.
I don't know, but it was hard to tell what was going on there. They were both just overly excited. It was like seeing a couple of dogs that haven't seen each other in a while. I'm just excited. Like everyone's jumping around, wrestling.
Oh my
And
god.
they do liken themselves to golden retrievers. I think he's the one that said, "I'm
He
basically a
says
golden
that.
retriever," and I loved that.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah.
it's a nice needed change. But yeah, I mean, we don't really see much of them. The only other time we see Fabio is in the men's lounge here and there. We also see her in the women's lounge here and there, but there is a part where Fabio is brushing or flossing his teeth while
Mhm.
Dave's having a breakdown, and he decides to like give him a quick little makeout session real quick just to let him know that everything's gonna be okay. Not
Yeah,
really, but
yeah.
a little hug.
He gives him a little hug, but same thing, I
Same
guess.
thing to me.
I mean, basically his mouth was wide open and he was engaging in intimacy, so it's the same thing as making out. Also, I don't know who it was, but somebody kept popping up from under the bar making a drink while he was doing this as well, and I'm just
Yeah.
thinking in my head, what are these men doing? One of them's having a breakdown, the other one's flossing his teeth and
Mhm.
trying to hug, the other one's making a drink, sorta I don't know if he's trying to hide or what. It's just
You
what
know,
is going on?
instead of so many episodes of the pods, I wish we just had an episode of like the men's quarters or
That's
like
what I
the
like to see.
women's
I
quarters.
like to see all the friendships that get developed and all
Mhm,
of that because a lot of that stuff kind of carries through from the cast parties and that kind of thing. So I
mhm.
was very disappointed, to be honest, with all of what was covered in the pods, but also just that all of this was the pods.
Yeah,
7 hours of the pods.
7 freaking hours of this. Yeah, it was torture. It was so hard for me to get through, honestly. Usually, like you said, I can binge watch this, but
Oh, yeah,
I
and be,
just
like,
couldn't.
hungry for more.
Yeah, and I just could not. I could
I
not do
agree.
it. Let's
Mhm.
go over here with her. What's her name? Do you see who is up? Who's queued up? I
No,
don't
I
want to butcher her
hang
name
on.
because I don't remember, and I don't remember her connection's
Oh,
name either.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Her name is Sarah.
Okay, so we're gonna put up Sarah. Again,
Mhm.
another one of those that we don't really see a ton of. We saw her. What was her connection's name? See, that's like I'm so bad
Ben.
with names as it is. So then when they barely show these people, it's so much worse for me. But
I'm bad at names too. Please, you guys don't think that I'm an expert or anything. I have a reference. His name is Ben.
okay, so yeah, so she's her main connection is Ben. They do end up getting engaged. They had a little moment in the pods about politics, which like okay, but I just felt like she was a little bit rash. I think she could have been like instead of being like, "Oh, you're so annoying for not knowing anything." She could have just been like, "Hey, are you open to learning some things and swallowing my opinions and keeping them and sharing them with me?"
I mean, in general, he was pretty agreeable as well. He said, I actually like what he said. I think it's ridiculous that he doesn't have anything intelligent to add. That's what he said. He
True.
said, I don't think I have anything intelligent to add to the conversation because I don't know enough, which is fair. But I do think it's ridiculous that in 2025 or 4 or whatever, that you don't have anything intelligent to add, any kind of opinion. I think you're
Yeah.
purposefully staying out of it, and I think
Mhm.
that that's a little bit sus. But I do think that she was a little bit too much too when it came to it because he was
Yeah.
saying, in general, it seems like I kind of lean towards what you're saying. That makes sense. And that's fine. And you can be in a relationship where you guys disagree about those sort of things, but I
I
think,
believe so. Like I think, politics is a strong issue. I think we've seen a lot of controversial things be said on this show. I don't watch this show for that though. So
yeah,
I know they got to have these conversations, but I don't even care to see them because to
yeah.
be honest, a lot of the political stuff I try to get away from that watching reality TV. I don't really want to like bring it all up again.
Yeah,
Um,
I appreciate that if you're gonna marry someone, you wanna at least know and be, comfortable with whatever you're comfortable with. That makes sense. So I don't know. I mean, they always kind of dabble into this a little bit. I know that Schmortion's been brought up before. I know that other kinds of
mhm.
things have been talked about, and that's fine. I think there's always something relevant, and particularly in Minnesota, bringing up George Floyd, I think was relevant and must have maybe been a moment in her whiteness where she realized her privilege and decided she wanted to do something about it. And so maybe it was meaningful for her in that way, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be meaningful for everyone in that way. She needs to give people room to grow. Although I do think it's ridiculous that he had nothing to add. But that is
Well,
a good way, I guess, to say I decided I'm not going to be involved, which is sad.
well, there are some people who feel like that. I mean, Dean
Well, it's a
even doesn't
privilege to be
have
able to feel like that.
true. Well, it's part of our American right, I guess, to feel like that. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to partake. I mean, that's your choice. But yeah, Dean didn't have a lot of strong political opinions when I met him. I mean,
Mhm.
I still don't even have strong political opinions. I'm
Mhm.
very open-minded. I sway either way. You are not, but I am. I'm very open-minded when it comes to politics and when it comes to dating somebody who has different views than me. I've even dated people who had different religions than me, which is very hard to do. I think it's even
Mhm.
harder to do that than politics, but
Yeah.
my grandparents were married over 60 years. One was a Democrat, one was a Republican. You know, you can make that stuff work. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I think I just didn't like how much she was like, oh, that's annoying. That's annoying. That's annoying. Because, like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it's annoying, but not everybody has that moment. She herself said she wasn't involved until
Yeah.
recently. So she should have more, I think, compassion for people who aren't as involved because she just found politics, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's what it sounds like. But anyways, yeah, she ends up it was funny to me though, that whole episode because she's over here upset about his political views or not having any or, you know, whatever. And and then we get him like, "Oh, you're my girlfriend."
I
She
know. The way that they both left that date was complete opposites. He was on cloud
opposite.
nine. He thought, I have it locked in, it's in the bag, which, it was eventually, but not at that moment. She walked out of there feeling probably the worst she's felt, it seems, when they have gone on dates. Their dates have been pretty easy and happy, and she was not happy about that.
No, she wasn't.
And I get saying, I think that that's an annoying response. It's not what I want to hear. I mean, she's entitled to her opinion, but I think she was
She
a little
almost
bit
it seemed like she was
judgmental.
gonna
Like it
stop.
just,
Yeah, it
oh,
seemed like she was
yeah.
gonna be
I
done
think
with
if
it.
somebody in the women's quarters did not give her permission to say somebody can be teachable in these aspects, I think she would have taken herself home.
Yeah, she probably would've. He's over
I
here
mean,
like, "Are you my girlfriend?" And she's over here like, "Well, we haven't talked about politics."
that is pretty ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, I those kinds of things matter to me. I think I'm open-minded, but I have formed an opinion that is pretty strong.
Right,
So I think
very strong.
those kinds of things matter to me. So I would want
Mhm.
to talk about those things as well, but the way the way that she brought these things up, I just think I don't know. It didn't leave any room for anyone to have a different opinion.
I just wonder where he got as a girlfriend out of this because he walked out and he's like, "I think I have a girlfriend." It's like she
Well,
didn't say yes unless the Netflix didn't show us that part, but
I think that there was a reason for that. I can't remember though. It's all kind of a blur with them. But I think there
yeah.
was a reason he thought that. I think they did have a you're the only one I'm talking to kind of discussion. I don't think it was as
Mhm.
cute as will you be my girlfriend, boyfriend. I think they did narrow it down in that date that they were just there for each other at that point.
Right.
So ipso facto they're girlfriend, boyfriend, but I don't think it was as cute as some of the other situations that we saw.
Well, now they're fiancés, and I
Now
must
they're
say,
fiancés.
she is stunning. When she
She's
walked out
really
in that
pretty.
little dress, oh my god, she's just stunning. I didn't realize
Mhm,
how stunning she was until the
mhm.
reveal, and then I saw her little casting photos, and I'm like, "Wow, she is
Kind of looks
very."
like Jennifer Aniston.
She does! I was trying to figure out who she looks like. This is like the season where everybody looks like somebody else to me.
Everybody always looks or reminds me of somebody. I
Someone.
think that's how our brains just sort of work.
Yeah,
Not
it's
just
like
ours, but I think our like humans' brains just work that way.
it's a survival tactic.
It's just something.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move on from them because honestly,
Bye
there ain't
bye.
much else there to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm good
gonna
on
go
them.
I'm gonna go over here really quick with our friend Devin.
Who?
Um,
Oh,
I think his name is Devin, right?
yeah, his name's Devin. Yeah, he had a little bit of a triangle.
Mhm. Yeah, we didn't see much of him, especially in the first few episodes, but we did see him get a connection with Virginia, and I forget her name. What's the other one's name?
Pause. Hold, please.
Hold. Quick hold.
Hold,
Yeah,
please.
see, Chick Chat, we're not the best with the names.
Our
in the
girl's
movie.
name is Brittany.
Brittany. Okay. Yeah, so he had a connection with Virginia and Brittany. Brittany's was basically based on basketball. It was just loving basketball.
Basketball. Tell me you're from Minnesota.
Everything's about basketball. This man had hoops in the room. See, he's just shooting hoops. He is just basketball. I was like, damn.
Yeah, and I mean the woman that he did end up with, Virginia, I think is a better fit for him.
I
She
think so
had this
too.
kind of funny thing, and I think it was a little bit um I don't know, salty in a confessional where she said, I just think that's too much basketball in one household or something along those lines. I thought it was so funny and I
That
thought she
was
was so
hilarious.
right. I think they have a more of a fit that will complement each other rather than be up on top of each other's hobbies and stuff all the time.
Yeah, not so much. There was a lot of basketball going on between them.
Yeah, and Love and Basketball is one of my very favorite movies, but if that's all you have, that's all you have, and it didn't work out well for them.
No, especially when Brittany decided to let it be known that she had lesbianist tendencies
Yeah.
and she has been in a relationship with a woman. And in fact, the last relationship it sounds like she was in was with a woman, and the woman wanted to go the distance with her, and she just didn't see herself marrying a woman, which I
Yeah.
found interesting. And then he seemed a little bit like, oh, like I forgot what he even told her at that point because I know he let some personal
He said
information
something
out.
about having an attraction for the woman. Something like that. It was really, really bizarre the way that he said it. But this whole thing made me really sad for her because,
It did.
and I might be saying something completely wrong, but I think that she is a lesbian and I think that she does want to be with a woman. And I think the religion stuff that she brought up is preventing her from really embracing her authentic self.
Okay.
And I wonder if she's wanting to be with a man, not because she pictures it, but because that's what people tell her. That's like internalized homophobia, internalized racism. These things really do happen.
Yeah.
So it just made me sad if that's the case. I guess I shouldn't accuse her of being something, but if that is the case, I feel really sad for her. And I hope she
No,
can get
I
some
thought
support through this and maybe live her life the way she wants to proudly, whatever
I
that is.
I swore she was going to tell us that she was not that she looks like it, but I thought she was going to tell us she was transitioning or something or whatever. And I
Yeah.
was like waiting for something crazier than that. So when she said she was just a little bit lesbian, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's not what I was thinking
I'm
this
just
was going to
a
go."
little bit.
Well, with all the basketball and and everything, like I can understand. Not saying anything. I know someone's gonna come for me in the comments, but you know, I I liked her and his connection, but I just thought it was very surface level regardless. You know, I think it was
Mhm,
just based on surface level things. I think
mhm.
Virginia was just a better fit for him overall. Like she said, just too much basketball in one house. I did
Yeah,
feel bad for her because when she did open up about her preferences and things, he did seem to be taken aback by that, which I think anybody would when they first hear something like that. I think it's funny because like when it's girls and it's like, oh, when we hear about a man being bi, we don't blame the girl for not wanting
yeah.
to deal with that because we're like, well, seems a little strange that we've both done the same things. But like with men, it's almost like, you almost feel like, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. She hooked up with girls or whatever. It's kind of like a weird double standard. I don't think it's necessarily like she could cheat, which like that can happen with anybody. Like we were talking about in our text, it can happen with straight people, it can happen with gay
Mhm.
people. People, if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat.
Yeah,
For me, I just think there's like always going to be that underlying thing of like, well, does she prefer, is she going to miss that? Is she going to miss, because the love from the opposite sex is something you can't give, like the
Mhm.
experience from the opposite sex. And let's just say women know women's bodies a little bit better than men do, okay?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I
So
get that, but at the same time, a skill can be learned in those kinds of departments. I think tools can be used. I think all kinds of things can
yeah.
happen in the bedroom to satisfy people. But I see what you're saying. You know what, when you hook up with people of different genders and sexes, you're getting different parts and options, and those are
Mhm.
things that you won't have when you jump from one to the other. But I
Right.
do think the same thing is, anyone can make a choice, just like we make a choice about the parts of a male from the parts of a male. We can decide. It's not all about our genitals and
True.
pleasure. As long as you're satisfied and happy in that way, I think a lot of people can stay committed and monogamous in any form of any relationship with any gender and preference. So I get kind of like, I don't know if frustrated is the word, but I get confused sometimes because I think a lot of people who are gay and bisexual and lesbian get a bad reputation for being promiscuous or something like that. And I don't think that that's really the case. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
are in monogamous relationships, and you just choose to
Yeah,
be.
I don't think it's that either. I do think the only thing with that is if you see them making a friend, all out of
Mhm.
nowhere, you're kind of like side-eyeing it a little bit, but like and that's just normal, I think, when you're in
Yeah.
that situation, but like,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that's
think
the same thing in a like a male-female
yes.
monogamous relationship. You
Yes.
see your wife or whatever starting to be friendly with another man, you're gonna, I think, have a side eye. But at the same time, again, it comes down to trust. It comes down to that
Yeah.
whether or not you are a loyal and committed person or not. And that can, you could be gay, you could be straight, you could be a cheater, you could not be a cheater.
Which is why for me it's not about the cheating part. I just think maybe it's more about like, will she miss this? Like, will she one day, 10 years down the line, be like, I want to just eat some cat?
I definitely think that it brought him some form of insecurity in some kind of way, and he
Yeah.
wasn't ready to have it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing too when you're the other way around. Like if he was the one to be like, "Oh, I used to be bisexual." I think sometimes it's just one of those things where it's like, "Well, I don't have that part. So are you going to miss that?" But like
Yeah.
you said, if you make a choice that like, that was just maybe a phase in your life and you're over it and you want to move on, you want to do this because it seems like she's very sure that she wants to be married to a man and probably have her own children and things like that, and
Mhm,
that is something a woman can't give her.
mhm.
So yeah, I think or at least not in a conventional way, I should say. But yeah, I think that if she's making the choice, I do feel bad that she kind of got rejected, but in the same sense, we do have to remember that they're doing all this in 9 days. So,
She actually got him before he got her, and let's clap to her for that because at least she has the self-confidence to say, "I peeped the way that you reacted, and I'm not gonna have you sit here and question if this is okay with you or not. I'm gonna find a person who just accepts me for who I
no,
am and all of my fashion."
she's a queen. She really is. And I loved her little blazer too. I was like, let's be honest,
Okay.
girl.
I
Let's be
know.
honest with this outfit. I love it.
I know.
She came
Let's be
in.
honest. Yes.
Let's be honest here. And she's the literal queen. I do like her. I thought she was really likable. I thought she had a lot of good high energy.
Mhm.
I actually think they would have been a good match down the line, but I don't think it had that deep connection. And I
Yeah.
don't think he even had that with Virginia for a while because he was trying to get there with her
He
and she
was
seemed standoffish.
pulling that out of her
Like,
just
oh,
by his claws, and thankfully he got some of it, or I think he would have ended up leaving alone because I do think
yeah.
he was telling the truth when he did tell Virginia, "Listen, the end of this is marriage, and I wanna know everything about you." He sort of said it like he was
Mhm.
interrogating her, which made me a little uncomfortable for her, but I imagine after so many dates and her just saying, "I'm shy," or whatever, he's probably saying, "Is he with it or not?"
Are you in or not? Like, I got you over here. I'm not really sure. Like, you barely say much and nothing. And then I got girl over here that likes basketball. So his options
Basketball. I
could get
think she's so much better than him, though. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just think she has this high energy, and he was sort of
me.
just,
Yeah,
he knew what that woman, Virginia, she's soft spoken and flowy and flowery. She was just, I don't know. I think she would have overpowered him a little bit.
I would have loved to see her with a different connection, but
Totally. Yeah. Like a big presence of a man.
because I truly enjoyed her. I thought she was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I just knew that once she told him that it was gonna be done for her. Especially, and at first I think he was leaning towards her because of basketball.
I think so too, which is so cheesy. I mean, they really didn't have a whole lot going for the two of them. So,
No.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm glad that this happened, but obviously you need to love the person you're going to be with. So, if he's not with it, he's not with it.
Are
At
you
least it
there,
wasn't giving Diamond in season 1.
girl?
Ah,
Not Diamond.
not Diamond.
Poor Diamond went
Diamond and
through it, though.
Carlton.
Yeah, poor Diamond. She really went through it. I do not know how to make this picture bigger, but it's not
Can you
really.
zoom in on it?
I'm trying right now. It's not really doing it. You can see my
fully
bottom.
zoomed.
Yeah.
Can you double click it?
No.
Okay.
But anyways, him and Virginia get engaged. They're not that relevant to stay on the screen that long. So
no, we'll just give you a little snippet there.
But they had a cute little showing. I honestly think they're a cute looking couple. Like, I think they look a little bit related.
Related, not related.
Well, when couples look a little bit related, that means they're meant to be, right?
What? What kind of backwards Kentucky? I'm sorry to Kentucky.
It's just I thought they looked cute together. Like, they could have been on a Hallmark card,
Okay.
But
they did look cute. I don't know how I felt about her outfit, to be very real. I'm not trying to hate because she looked beautiful in it.
Looked beautiful. It's just very sheen. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people wear not necessarily gowns. I thought that what's her name's green dress was gorgeous, but a little bit too much of a gown for this sort of setting too. I don't know why I'm trying to critique so much. I'm not a fashionista, but I just I don't know. I thought those were interesting choices. Those two.
Oh, there was a lot of interesting choices, but
there was.
Yeah,
but she looked good in that dress. I am not hating on the way she looked in it. It's giving Valentine's Day date, which, you know what? They probably got engaged on Valentine's Day, so she's probably right on par.
She's right on par. It's like the day
she's
after.
Serving everything up. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Well, anyways, I don't have anything else to say about them. So moving forward.
Yeah.
Would you like to get into our
I am curious to see their relationship develop a little bit more, because he kept asking her about her background and all of that, and she gave a little bit, but it was very vague about the things she was missing and needing and whatever, and he reassured that, but I'm curious to see what that really looks like.
Right.
So I'm intrigued by them. I would like to see more. They're probably one of my top favorites so far that we've talked about.
Well, moving on to someone who's definitely not our favorite.
No.
Mr. Dave. So, Dave's in this triangle with Molly and what was her name? I'm so bad with this.
Her name is Lauren.
Lauren? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Molly and Lauren.
Which is who he ends up with.
Yes. And his first date with Lauren, I didn't like it. I did not like his initial meeting with her. Like, oh, you're over 30, that means you're not attractive anymore. Like, I know that might have been a joke, but I still it's your first time meeting her, and she just ate that up. And I was like, girl.
I think she just has a way of dismissing all of that and sort of looking past it. And I'm not saying that that's great for her, but she does seem to sort of just ignore his weird comments and move on. She's done it a couple of times, and it looks like there's going to be some funky things he says to her in the trailer that we saw too. something referring to her hair being changed. What would be really horribly maniacal is if this man saw our girl Molly with the red hair and then told her that. And he was maybe requesting red
A
hair.
redhead.
That would be very maniacal. I hope that that's not what Dave is up to, but he doesn't seem, I don't know, he doesn't
I kind of
seem
hope it is. I
very
need some drama.
husbandy.
He doesn't, but neither does Molly to me. I mean, Molly's never had a boyfriend. I think the vetting process for this, I know that we're like, they need to vet more, they need to vet more. And apparently they go through several interviews and stuff. But I just think that if somebody hasn't been in a serious relationship ever, I think it's a huge step to go from situationships to marriage. You know,
Yeah, I hear you on that.
I've been in, and this is coming from like, I've been in many a situationship. I mean, 5 years of my 20s were spent in situationships. I'm feeling similar to Molly's. I'm feeling her in that way. And after all that, if right afterwards the next guy was the guy that I married, no, you need an actual relationship first. And I just think there's a difference between your situationships and a long-term relationship. I think you should at least have one long-term relationship under your belt before you decide you want to get married, because you're just itching for a divorce, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can get behind that.
Because I've been in many a situationship. I know you're more of a relationship girl. I know you've had a
I've
couple
been
of
in a
situations.
situationship or two, but not, a prolonged situationship
And
after
that's
situationship. I feel like that sort of speaks to an avoidance a little bit of commitment, which it makes me wonder why in the hell she's on Love is Blind. So I get what you're saying.
that and or could be on the guy's side, because I used to have that issue where I was like in these long-term, years-long situationships with a couple different people, and it was kind of more like, both of us were not fully committing. So yeah, I can see that shows like a lack of commitment, which is why, yeah, I don't understand why her next jump would be, oh, let's go on Love is Blind and find love, unless it's
Get
about
married. Yeah, I don't, I mean, obviously there's more going on there because it doesn't scream very logical, although she doesn't necessarily scream very logical.
not to me either. I don't know.
Yeah.
um
But she was basically obsessed with David, what do we call him?
Dave,
Dave?
he was one of those that would come in and be really excited after dates, would kind of tell her business a little bit, and
Which to me shows a lack of maturity, a lack of relationship experience. The fact that she is so enthralled in the fact that somebody showed her a little bit of interest and wanted to pick her, that is very, I'm starting off in my relationship life to
yeah,
me. I'm not saying you have to be a cold, hard, mean person in order to be ready to get married, but I just think she was just eating it up way too much, eating it all right up. But so was Lauren, just in a quieter way.
yeah, I think they were kind of honestly very similar, her and Lauren, more
Yeah.
ways than one.
Hmm.
um Yeah, it seemed like at one point he was going to pick Molly because he starts talking about rings. It almost seems like he's about to cut his relationship with Lauren off. And then they have this little drama going on between all of them, because once Lauren has her turn, then his mind changes. He cries for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
sad.
he ends up kicking Molly to the curb. He wasn't very direct, I think. Like, he tells Lauren he was direct, but I was confused when, just like Molly was confused. Like, are you trying to have me end this? Because what?
I thought that was so funny to me. I agree. I think he wasn't super direct either, but I do think he was direct enough. It was clear that they weren't going to continue to communicate or talk. He basically did everything but say, I made my choice and it's not you. But the fact that she said something about, are you going to make this decision or leave it up to me? And he's all, I'm pretty sure I just did. I had such secondhand embarrassment for her. She's, oh, okay, all right, well, goodbye.
Mhm. Right. Yeah, I
She
don't.
did take it well though, and I like that they talked afterwards, the two of them, because I actually, maybe I'm naive, but I actually don't think that Molly intentionally shared that she was talking with Dave to Lauren. I think Molly was so blinded at the time by her infatuation with Dave that she just wanted to
Mhm.
tell everybody. And Lauren is quiet. So I don't think anyone knew who Lauren was seeing or who was her number one.
It was the same thing going on with Madison and the other girl, right? Like one was kind of overly
Yeah,
talkative, the other one wasn't. So then
mhm.
there was issues there. Honestly, if I was on Love is Blind, I'd be keeping everything to myself, you know?
Yeah, it's like there's kind of pros and cons to both. If you keep things to yourself, then you're sort of at risk of people sharing things with you because they don't know what not to share with you. But also, if you share a lot, you can definitely put yourself in risky situations. So I'm sure it's got to be hard to be
Yeah.
in the little pod quarters.
Let me pull up my next set of people. Yeah, I mean, he does pick Lauren,
Hmm.
and it, their little reveal was just kind of like all the others. It was cute, but there was, I don't know, it was just cute, I guess, to me.
Yeah, I
Nothing
feel like
crazy. I kind of zoned out during.
so I know a little bit of, I think he's the one that said something about, isn't he the one that was that like said he's kind of shallow in his dating history? And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he said
yes.
that he thought that teachers were not ugly, but not cute. And I just, I'm pretty sure in the reveal, he looked her in the face and he said something like, I can see that you're a teacher. Like, was he kind of low key digging her right then and there? I feel like that's sort of what he does, but I just think I didn't pick up on that one.
Was he the
But
one that she needed to teach to read? What one was the one that needed to learn how to read?
I feel like that was Mason or
I
something.
think it was, now I think it might have
Yeah.
been Mason. Was he on a date with her?
What?
Or just was he on a date with her? Or did he have a different connection?
I don't know. Did we already talk about Daniel? User
Was
Alien wants to know.
Daniel the one that
No, we haven't talked about Daniel and Taylor yet.
okay, so
No,
yeah, no,
User
we're
Alien. We have
saving
not.
that. We're saving that a little bit, user. You're just in time for the potty.
You are. You're here just in time. Thanks for
Just
coming. We're
in
glad you're
time
here.
for the potty.
Yes.
Yep. And then
What?
also, it looks like they said this. She was very immature. I don't know why Netflix would allow someone who hasn't had a boyfriend before, but he's not so bad. But he's going to see her and be upset he picked the other girl.
Yeah, we did see some of that in the trailer that came up as well. She came in this cute little ponytail, and he said something about having regrets. The producers sort of shake things up and want us to believe storylines and things like that. But I don't think it's out of the ordinary for him to have regrets about this situation because
Mhm.
I think he's the one that talked about being really shallow, and I think he's gonna not be super nice. Also, he's the one who has a strange sister. So I just I say
Yes.
strange, like I think she said that she doesn't approve of him being on the show and the type of girls that are on the show are not good enough for him. So I wonder
I
what
wonder if
kind of
she's kind of like
family.
his sister-in-law. Like she's really close with him like that, like a little bit like,
Right. Too close.
very vocal, very close, very
Yeah.
this is my brother.
I just want to know, what type of family does he come from? What kind of values do they have? How are they going to treat little quiet Lauren? I mean, gosh, if Molly were to walk in there, I think it'd be 10 times worse. So I think he picked the right woman in that sense. Lauren seems to have more confidence, although both of these women seem to lack
Yeah.
confidence, in my opinion, because
No,
of this man.
I agree because I just, we've seen it many seasons where parents didn't agree and all this stuff. Like, why is this relevant at this point? Like, if a sibling doesn't agree, a parent
Your
doesn't
sibling.
agree. We've seen it happen a lot of times.
Yeah, especially your sibling. But I do understand that. I mean, that complicates things in your life, especially if that's somebody who's close to you in your life, to not get along with that. But I also don't like this quick judgment irrationally that the sister is having. I mean, let's just pump the brakes and,
Yeah.
see what your brother does. Maybe trust his decision making. He's a grown man.
It's like, what did you say to him before he left that he's just so worried about
He's
people
in there
moving his
crying to
sister?
strangers about it. You're right. I don't know. I want to know. She must be really harsh.
Yeah. Uh, the sister thing was really honestly
So true. I don't
possible.
get it either.
Possible.
It's giving jealous, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I
Yeah.
hope this sister has a family of her own she can focus on at some point. But yeah, it seems like a little bit overbearing, a little bit too involved. But I guess we'll see when we meet her. I mean, it could be he's building it up and we meet her and she don't even care. So, you
Could
know,
you imagine? This man is crying to Tarzan while flossing his teeth about his sister, and this woman's just like, hey, cool.
yeah, like she probably
No,
is fine, and
I
we're
don't
just
think that's what.
overthinking it. We got to have
No.
something to blame it on.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, anything else to say about them other than I guess, we'll see what's to come with them. I mean,
Yeah, we'll see. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know who's a better match for Dave. I don't know if Dave has a match here, to be honest. But as far as those two women, I think they're kind of equally a good match. I think he could have just flipped a coin and ended up with either of them.
That's my feeling on it, honestly. Right there
Yeah,
is a visual representation of honestly this whole season, but
yeah.
definitely
I think that's pulled from the trailer.
it is.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, yep. Lucky for us.
Mhm.
We get a lot of couples that we didn't really care to follow. But anyways, yeah, where do you want to go next? You want to go back over to this love square we were dealing with?
Well, I think we've covered all the couples except for Taylor and Daniel now.
And the little love square that of the almost couples right
The
here.
love square that wasn't.
The love square that
Yeah.
was not. Every point on this square went home. But
Mm-hmm.
we did have this is our one big love square triangle thing.
These were
Um,
all my favorite people.
I did like a lot of these people. I really liked Madison. I felt like I knew her or something. Either she looks familiar or there's
She
something
reminded
familiar
me
about
of
her.
Giannina from season 1, who
Mhm.
also gave me a vibe like I knew her, and maybe they all sort of remind me of somebody. But yeah, I got the same kind of feeling, but I know she did remind me of Giannina. But
Yeah.
I really liked her, but I thought she was sort of, I don't know, she had like a double personality with both of these men. It was
Yeah.
like with Mason, she would be this kind of independent, artistic, free-thinking woman. And with Alex,
Alex. Yep.
she was this hurt, fragile, in need of assistance, sad, anxiously attached, traumatized girl.
Right. And
And she couldn't integrate the two humans. I wonder if that's how she lives her life. And if she does, I feel sad for her.
she says, she's never been in love. She's very fulfilled in all these areas of her life, except
Mhm.
really her relationships.
Yeah.
I felt like Alex. Oh my god, when I first met him, I just wanted to hug him when he talked about being bullied and he talked about his little high school life, how he didn't really have many friends, how he was always by himself. I just was like, oh my
I
god.
know.
I always have like so much empathy in that way, but yeah, so I think that's probably what got her a little bit too. It seems like she wanted to keep connecting in that like lost soul type way.
Yeah.
He wasn't into some of it though. Like there were times where she would say, she has like her attachment style is avoidant, things like that. He wasn't really into that. I think it's because people seem like they've been avoiding him all of his life. I don't think he wants, but the way he talked about his life.
Well, he said that he had been with some girls that are like that. I mean, I don't really know what that means necessarily, but I think I think it was scaring him a little bit that
Mhm.
maybe he wasn't necessarily qualified in his stage of life to handle situations like that. And that's pretty much what he said, that he was worried like, how do I deal with you, sort of like in these situations. And the thing he wasn't really getting that she was trying to tell him was, it's not your responsibility to deal with me. I'm an adult and I can deal with myself. But then in the same breath, she would kind of turn around and play this wounded bird scenario. So I just couldn't, I couldn't really figure it out. And I don't think he could figure it out either, which is why in the end they decided they just couldn't get there, which
Yeah,
also
what
pissed me
was that
off.
last conversation? Okay. Well, anyways, before we get to their last conversation, so they kind of kept ping-ponging back and forth between, she kept ping-ponging back and forth between the two guys. Like you said,
Mhm.
she did seem like different in each conversation. I honestly thought she was going to lean more towards Mason. I felt like their connection was just a little bit less sad.
Right.
Or like, just less contentious, because I felt like every time she met up with Alex, one of them was getting a little bit upset with the other about something.
But
No, you can put that comment back up, because I
oh,
think that's relating to before, right? He was dating her because she was like girls he was with before. That's true. And I think that that's something that Love is Blind is really good at with these people. Like they do tend to first start with somebody they like feels normal to them, feels almost familiar. And
yeah.
then they're kind of like, yeah, this isn't for me because this, I've already dated this person before. And I kind of wish that they might have just broken it off at that point. Like I kind of feel like her and Mason were a better match than her and
Yeah.
Alex. But
See,
that's
I
just
feel
me.
like her and Mason would have been a really cool match, the two of them. They seemed like they definitely had, you know, like an intimacy and a chemistry and a connection and a draw to each other. But I do personally feel like Madison would have been better with Alex.
Well, I felt like she definitely liked him more, and I could tell when she gave him little Brilliant that that was
She
like,
wanted that to work. I think she
mhm,
wants a man who's gonna make her feel really wholesome and secure and kind of ground her a little bit and
mhm,
make that part of her life, the family part of her life, real wholesome. But I think she's also really attracted to somebody like Mason, who's a little more free thinking and things like that. But I think that Meg and Mason, as far as a match for Mason, I think Meg was the girl for him.
I do as well. I don't understand why they keep saying this man is so free thinking. Like, what's so free thinking about him? He didn't say anything
He's
that
like
great
a
to me.
skater guy. He didn't really go to college. He kind of happened upon going to college to be a cinematographer, and then he jumped into his dream
Okay.
job right out of college. So he's just kind of like a floater, but I mean, I'm not saying he's not a hard worker. He just seems to not be he doesn't take himself super seriously, or I think he would have had more of a plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
He,
But, he didn't get the Brilliant.
he didn't get the
And
Blalian.
And when Alex got that Brilliant, he was like, "Mom, they gave me a gift." I'm like, dude, you got a loan. Okay. That wasn't a gift.
You know what? I don't even think she was gonna I don't think her intent was for him to have that overnight. I think her intent was for him to have that for the pod date and for her to get it back. And then he's all, "Can I have it?"
Yeah. And then she's like, okay.
And it's this stare though that makes me a little bit worried for Alex if they were together, because part of me thinks she wants to just sink her grips into this cute, soft, kind man and suck him for everything. Because, I mean, look at that stare. But she had that stare so much in the pods when she talked to him. And then when she broke things off with Mason, she had that same face. I can't tell which scene this is from, but it was
Yeah.
also the same face, this sort of diabolical, I'm in charge and I'm gonna, burn everything to the ground sort of face.
Right.
She
But
was entertaining to me. All four of
was
these people were entertaining. I was literally devastated when they all just decided they're not gonna
all of them.
get engaged. I really didn't get it. I
Well,
really didn't
Mason
get it.
tried playing us a little bit because he told us that Meg was always his number one. But there were scenes of him in the men's quarters when they're like, "Oh, did you just get done with the date with your number one?" Nope. And it was Meg. So we
Yeah.
know that he was feeling Madison more. I think he just should have been more honest about that with Madison. I think what she wanted was reassurance from him. He didn't really want to give either girl reassurance. And then when he did decide to give her reassurance, apparently that kept him up all night. But I don't really
Apparently it
think
didn't feel
so.
right. I mean, whether or not that happened or not, I don't understand actually why at the end of the day Meg and Mason didn't at least give it a whirl. And I think all of that had to do with Meg's.
I'm picking myself.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know. I think what's her name? Virginia talked about having to experience some ego death through this situation. I think Meg's ego really got in the way of at least seeing. I'm not saying you have to marry this man tomorrow. You might have to marry him in 5 weeks or whatever if it goes well. But at least see how the 5 weeks go. Have your little Bliss and Zach moment. I mean, just because you weren't the person's exact first, I'm exactly sure I know exactly what I want. Not everybody really knows that. I think that's kind of, I mean, we all want to feel chosen at some point, yes, but does it have to be the very first gut instinct choice? Sometimes that's not the right one, and that's fine. If somebody has clarity at some point that they want you, I think you should at least, if you feel like they're not being dishonest, you should give it a whirl.
I don't even think what he did was that bad. Am I crazy? Because I just remember Andrew a couple seasons ago in the pod trying to get 2 girls to run away with him. I think that was a lot worse.
I think it really was a lot of times guys, especially, I don't know why it's guys. I haven't seen a lot of girls in this situation though, but a lot of times guys get burned when they take it all the way to the end. Like the day before or the day before engagements. A lot of the times it seems like the girls start talking and somebody burns a bridge, somebody kind of freaks out. It's sort of like what happened with Jessica and what's his name. Seems like when somebody takes it all the way to the end, people's emotions just start to sort of get out of whack, which it's probably a really intense process. But at that point, things just go haywire. I think that you do have to be a little more decisive towards the very end, even if you're still just saying, I'm not ready to get engaged, but you're the one I'm going to talk to, or you're my number one or whatever.
I think it's telling that both Mason and Madison last day had 2 dates, I think that is insane. Day of proposal that you had 2 dates and you're still trying to figure it out, because Madison, after speaking with Mason or whatever, when she didn't get her reassurance or whatever the case was, she was telling Alex, I'm done with that connection. So why did she continue that connection if she was done with it? She did the same thing. She did the same thing to Alex that was done to her, but she didn't like it when it was done to her. Make it make sense to me. I don't understand.
Yeah. I just would have loved for Madison and Alex to end up engaged and Meg and Mason to end up engaged and all of them to go on vacation together, because that is the shit that I watch Love is Blind for. That right there. The love triangles work themselves out and then see each other on vacation and all of that. It's just, that's what I watch all of this for, is just the kind of will they, won't they, how do people act, what do people do? Do they feel regret? Are they going to talk? I want to know all of that stuff. And now almost none of that is going to happen, at least until the full cast parties, which is a ways away. And I'm not that excited about really any of these couples. The only one that's bringing some other little bit of entertainment factor for me is the ones that we have, are obviously leaving for last and haven't talked about yet. But it's like, I don't even know if they're going to make it to vacation because of what's happened. So I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I was so mad no one ended us engaged.
Of these 4?
Yeah. I was too. I was annoyed that I thought at least one of them should have, to at least carry on this little love square thing, so we could see it more at the cast parties.
That's the thing. I think they ended the whole love square, I think, in episode 5, and I was just basically done. I could barely get through episode 6.
That's how I felt too after Brittany and Leo were done as well last season.
Yeah.
I remember that little love triangle thing. I was like, okay, well now I'm bored, Right. And that's kind of how I felt after this. I didn't realize she did the same thing Mason did. She did, and I think that that's getting overlooked. I think she doesn't understand that she did the same thing to Alex. She did say she was done with her relationship with Mason, and then last day she's got to hear his explanation. She should have already been done with that. I mean,
and I think that that's kind of why he decided, or they decided together, that they couldn't really quite get there, because they obviously weren't choosing each other either. They weren't having that moment of clarity at any point yet. Which, I get why you don't get engaged at that point. I understand that, but I just want to see
just
it.
do it for the show. We know it's not a real, like, we know half these engagements don't actually turn out. Like, just go on your damn vacation. And then what he said at one point, like, let's just go to the vacation and see what happens. And I was like, yes, let's do that.
If after vacation you guys feel like this isn't working out, let's not meet our family and just break it off now. Make a deal to do that, because they'll follow you. They will follow you and your love square. And I will watch it and be more entertained.
Who was it? Season 2, it was Shayna and I'm gonna call him Mike because I don't remember.
The guy with the teeth, Shane and Shayna.
Well, it wasn't Shane. She got engaged to a different guy, remember? Because she didn't get Shane. Mm-hmm. Shane and Shayna would have been a perfect match, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. But too bad she's married and had a baby and everything. But
too bad.
Too bad. So sad. But yeah, so neither of these couples end up engaged. When Mason even meets up with Meg, it's a similar situation. She pulls a whole deeply on us and chooses herself. And I get the sentiment of that, but I still just think it would have been nice to see it play out. It happened with Ayanna, I think, too. Or there was somebody, not saying that's a good example because they ended up divorced, but there is a couple times where somebody wasn't really like the main choice, but then they still ended up engaged, and we at least still got to see the storyline play out. And I wish
what I'm sad to not see. I mean, it seems like it's going to play out. It seems like there's going to be, at the all cast meeting, there's going to be some stuff that goes on between, I think, Mason and Madison and Meg. I think a lot of that is actually going to come out. Some people, I think, are going to hook up that don't end up getting engaged but meet up with each other afterwards. We're going to hear about that. That's the only stuff I'm excited for right now. I'm not excited for these couples. I'm not excited for the retreat wherever they go. None of that. And what is it with Mason getting broken up with over meals? I feel bad for this man. He's never going to eat again. He got broken up with over a cream pie, which I'm never going to think of cream pie as the same. He's never going to think of cream pie as the same. And then he got broken up with over a sushi date.
And breakfast. He even brought the breakfast back with him.
He kept bringing his food back. Were they telling them, like, you guys need to clean up the pods? We're not your mates. Is that why? Because I
think they just cut the date short, and that's why he was walking out with food. He still had a whole plate of food, so he never
ate it. He even said, "Well, I'm not going to eat this breakfast and fix it up."
He probably brought it back to Fabio. He probably brought it back to the bros. He's like, "You guys want some of this pancake?"
You're right. They're bulking up.
Yeah, he was giving them to his friends, I think. I mean,
the cream pie even? Oh, no, he just gave her the cream pie.
You're right. I felt so bad. And I think he was also the
cream pie of it all, though. I don't think we need to talk more about it because it was just a disgusting little innuendo, but
it was. But I did feel bad because Mason did let Madison know that he is always the one getting broken up with. And well, his record still stands. He got broken up with twice.
True.
Good for you, Mace.
Yeah. Nothing but consistency for you.
Nothing but consistency. He did want to let us believe that Meg was his number one, although I just think he fumbled the bag with Madison. And
I think Meg was his number one. Am I dumb?
I think he was back and forth with it. I think he was genuinely confused. And I think that that's normal. I think if you're in this kind of experiment, that it's going to be normal to go back and forth between people. I think I felt his chemistry more with Madison, but I think Meg was a better fit for him.
I think him and Madison had more sexual chemistry and they talked about it more, but I think that him and Meg were just a great match, honestly. I think they would have been a wonderful match.
Right.
I think she got in her own way in the end because of how he dated in the pods, but I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he just, he was playing a little too much.
And I'm always like, I'm on the fence about this, like, sisterhood thing. It's like, you didn't know these girls before. So, like, just realize that this is just part of the experience. And you know, I would have just let it play out and see where it went. Now you're just going to be like, she was just so weird, I think, after she broke it off. She's like, now I'm going to go off, find my person. You're going to go find your person. She was just too weirdly positive and like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt weird to me. Felt very choosing myself.
Yeah, it was very deep.
Yeah, but like excitedly like, choosing myself.
Yeah.
I get to break up with you. Kind of thing. Like it was just
I mean, Madison was really excited to break up with him too. She came in and said something like breakups are the best or breakups taste good or something.
Poor Mason. He didn't deserve any of that. I just think he was being genuine and honest with them for the most
I
part.
think so too. I think he made two really good connections and he couldn't figure it out until the end. And I understand that they're frustrated with that. They want to feel chosen or whatever. But you know, they make this whole thing of you can't choose and so now you're not going to get either one of us. But it's like, well, now you're not going to get anything either. And I'm not saying, you know, to be a pick me or, you know, be someone's second choice, but I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
if you have a genuine connection with somebody and the point here is to form as many connections as possible in order to figure out which one is the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think you do need to kind of let your ego die a little bit and maybe just give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Maybe the universe did all of this. Aren't they both like big conspiracy theorists? What
Which
if the
ones?
Mason and Meg
Mm-hmm.
that they like spent the whole time talking about pyramids and whatever. She actually had some serious conversations to have about some things that she heard from Madison, and he fully distracted her with some things about some tablets that were found in Egypt that were glowing or something. And she's all right away, oh, really? What? Tell me more. And I'm like, you just got tricked.
That's I see. I think like these were some of the pods dates that I would just kind of like zone out because there was points where
Oh,
I
thank you.
just zoned out like
I
during
know.
these pods. It was just too much pods for me. Okay, whoever voted for more pods, no, thank you. Okay,
Yeah. Honestly, I need 4 episodes or less of the pods, and I need it to all be really content heavy, juicy, either connection
right.
or drama or people forming relationships that are relevant to later on. A lot of this, I mean, maybe they'll make it make sense to me later on, but a lot of this just felt like I could fast forward it and not miss a thing.
And I did.
Yeah.
And I did. It was
Yeah.
given. Yeah, I was pretty much like this half the time, honestly, because yeah, I think that it's one thing to show us more connections in the pods because at the end of the day, half of the time we only end up with 2 or 3 engagements towards the end, and that
Mhm.
isn't as fun to watch. I think they could show us more people, but I don't need more pods, if that makes sense.
No,
You
I
can make
agree.
the pods episodes longer and you can
Yeah.
add on more connections. And like you said, I want to see the juicy connections because that's why I'm watching reality TV, okay? Is to get away from politics, my regular life, all these things that
Right.
Love is Blind keeps bringing up. But I'm
Just
here to
be
watch all the random connections, and it was just too much pots for me. And then to save the best part for the very last 5-7 minutes. All right.
I know. I know. The fact that these episodes all were over an hour long and the only reality TV worthy drama came in the last 5 to 7 minutes. And they did not even do a sufficient job of explaining what the problem is here. I know that that's kind of part of a cliffhanger that you're supposed to have questions and we're all supposed to talk about it, which we're about to do. But I don't know. For this to be the thing that we're all supposed to talk about, I don't even know where she formulated this idea. I suppose it could be a possibility that he followed her on Instagram and knew what she looked like and then decided to, you know, look at all the things that make her tick and then be that. But I think that would really be a long game.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he could be creepy like that, but I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't know. Somebody needs to bring her out her phone. I know they don't get their phones back until after they go on vacation and they start living life together, but somebody needs to bring out either Taylor's phone or Daniel's phone so we can check on this Christmas photo.
Does this man not look like a Timu Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, he was definitely giving Leo and Wolf of Wall Street vibes, the
Yeah.
younger sort of him. He was doing that. He has there's a couple of people that he reminds me of, and they're all pretty scummy, to be honest. Not to
Yeah.
say he's scummy. I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt in this situation, and maybe I'll eat my words next week when we talk and get more information about what happened. But I think she admitted to being an overthinker. I think I don't know. But I also, I watched from episode 3 to 6 over again twice. So I saw a lot of their dates that she was referring to with like the Taco Bell thing and all of that. And I think a lot of those strangely were coincidences. It seems like this man genuinely loves Christmas just as much as she does. A lot of people love Christmas. It's a lot of people's favorite holidays. In the Taco Bell thing she brought up, it's tattooed in her lip, unless I missed
On
something
her lip.
inside her lip. And
Is
unless I
it?
missed
Oh
something, that's
yeah.
something she brought up. And he said, I'll get the same tattoo. And she said, no, you get your own favorite fast food place. And he said Chick-fil-A. So I don't think that's a weird, strange coincidence. I think you guys just had a conversation. And also Taco Bell happens to be I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
possibly. I think yeah, I think I'm on the fence. I don't really know if he knew her before.
User
User
alien thinks so.
I do think he was kind of a little put off when she brought it up, but he could have been put off because he didn't know what the hell she was talking about, or he could have been put off because he did know what she was talking about.
Mhm.
I
Are you
thought
referring to his face, user alien, when she confronted him about it? Because I kind of get what you're saying, if that's
yeah,
what you're referring to. He made sort of, the face that people make when they're caught a little bit. It looked like he was really processing. He was quiet. He had that deer in headlights sort of look.
yeah,
But sometimes that happens, like you said, to you when you're just really caught off guard and you don't know.
yeah. Like he could have just been like, I have no idea what you was talking about, ma'am. Why are you meeting me in the lobby of this random hotel?
He's like, just say what you need to say. Like he probably was like, oh no, she's gonna tell me I'm too short.
Yeah, she gonna tell me I'm ugly.
Yes. Which,
But
I don't know. I know she also said when she sat down and was sort of talking to us, she also said something about when the doors opened, he looked so familiar and she just couldn't figure out why or where. And I rewatched their meeting each other and she didn't look weirded out to me unless I just wasn't picking up on it. I'm not an
could have
expert.
internalized it, I guess. She could have just been like, hey, some seems familiar. But then she probably, pushed it to the side. And then when she was back in her little room and stuff, she might have just been overthinking it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that's really going to prove this theory is, like you said, if they'll just show us. Like, at this point, they don't have their phones back. Take one of their phones. I mean, he doesn't have a chance to delete the photo.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little strange when she's like, do you have a photo in front of a Christmas tree? And he's just like, a fireplace. Like, why would you put that in place of the Christmas tree? Like
I
maybe,
think he was trying to say, maybe you did see me, but it was the fireplace. But I think that would kind of be in her a point in her direction. So,
yeah,
I really don't know. I think production needs to make a little bit of an exception. They need to grab somebody's phone and we need to just get this over with because I think if there's still a question mark about this, I don't think she's going on vacation with him. I think she's weirded
no,
out. She's creeped out. She's convinced herself of a story, whether that's reality or not. She's very sure right now
no.
that this man has done something creepy and weird. And I don't blame her. I wouldn't go on a trip with him either if I felt that way.
She feels like he's her little stalker.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that's how it's seeming to her. So I don't blame her for feeling scared. And maybe that is kind of what's going on. I mean, we have seen some weird things go on in Love is Blind. And this would be the entertainment, I suppose, that I'm looking for. But it wasn't just giving it to me yet. It was just like the smallest of
trickle.
droplets.
Oh,
And I'm so thirsty right now. I'm
I
so
know.
thirsty.
I know. And now we got to wait till Friday to even figure out that she did or didn't see him on her Instagram, which, you know what? It's possible. I mean, I don't know how big of a area they're in, it's definitely possible that he could have requested her. Maybe he didn't even realize. I mean, how is he supposed to actually know she was going on Love is Blind though? Like, regardless of whether or not he found her before, and maybe he might have put two and two together later. I mean, I think maybe that's what she's worried about, is that he put two and two together like while they were talking and realized who he was talking to. But what are the odds? What are the odds that the girl that you found on Instagram that you thought was attractive, you wanted to follow her, you might have read her bio, sure, where she says, "Oh, I love Christmas," and whatever. I'm a nurse that loves Christmas, but yeah, you can see that stuff. But how are you to truly know that this person is going on Love is Blind?
Right.
Just like you are.
No,
I mean,
that's
that would
what I
be
mean.
a lot of foresight.
I think some of this could have been a coincidence too, if they knew each other, or some of this could have just been, very, very weird, and he has some strange intentions going on with her. I'm not sure. I do have a photographic memory, so I can appreciate that she sort of maybe seared this picture of somebody who added her. I've seen a lot of guys that have added me and instantly developed an opinion or a funny story like, oh, this guy is blah blah blah, and so I'd
He could
remember
look
that.
like that guy. So
Right.
who's to know?
Right. He looks like a lot of guys. I think he needs to have an opportunity to confirm or deny her accusations. And I wish I would have saw that a week ago because I'm bored.
I know. It is boring now. Like, I kind of just wish. And I thought, there were other seasons that were boring. I thought season 5 was boring. I thought season 6 was pretty. I think, like, honestly, the last few seasons have been pretty boring to me. But this just kind of took.
Last season was good, I think. It was a lot of drama. It was very overwhelming, but
it was. It was. But yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, he could have seen her before. And maybe it was him, but who's to know that he actually saw her, or he knows that she was on Love is Blind. I think that's the part that gets me. Like, even if he saw her before, even if it was him, how is he to follow her on a whole show when he doesn't know her? So
right. Here comes the Uche comment.
I was waiting for that. I knew someone would bring up Uche. Uche did happen, but he knew Lydia beforehand, and I think him and Lydia had a conversation about going on Love is Blind. So that's how Uche knew Lydia was going, and vice versa. I think there was an actual conversation. I think someone had a flyer at their house, but they actually dated beforehand. So I think that's the difference between Uche and Daniel. But I mean, Daniel could just be her little stalker. I don't know.
If Daniel is a stalker, then Uche walked so Daniel could run.
He did.
Definitely.
So Daniel could fly.
Daniel could fly. And he is flying right now. If this was his little sneaky plan is working. But I just feel like that takes a lot of
planning when you don't know
power
somebody.
And planning when they're really not that much in control of what's going on this show. A lot of it is production.
Yeah. Well, I will say in their conversation when she was like, I, saw you were trying to follow me on Instagram. I think this is you, whatever. He was like, I don't follow you on Instagram. And she's like, well, no, you unfollowed me.
I thought that was a very interesting choice of words too, right away. I don't,
that was pretty.
There's definitely something here, or it wouldn't be here, right? But what?
Yeah, I mean, if he really found her on this show and I mean, this is restraining order possibility.
It is weird. It is really weird. And I want to know, was he in the DM? Did he say something creepy? Is that why you remember him? Because that's why I always have someone's, mental image or Facebook image or whatever seared into my memory, because, they'll message you something weird or creepy or rude or whatever. And so I remember that. So, and he's not the one that said he was shallow, but I don't know. I just want to know why on earth do we see all this boring crap, and then the last 15 minutes we get the serious hotel room vibe.
Yeah. Well, it must have been because I feel like this must have been the day after the reveal, and she was just like up all night thinking about this, which doesn't help. I mean, if you're up all night fixated on it, you're going to believe it's true.
Yeah, and she
So
said she's an overthinker. So the thing is maybe he did follow her on Instagram and maybe she's overthinking his intentions. I think that that's a perfectly reasonable thing that could happen as well. Like you
well,
said,
that's
they live in the same city. It's possible that they have maybe mutual friends. I think she brought that up that they had some mutual friends. I don't think that that's the creepiest, weirdest thing in the world unless his intent was to find her
follow
and
you
get on
there.
Love
Yeah.
is Blind and match with her and marry her.
It could literally just be coincidence. I mean, he could have followed her and then she didn't accept the follow request, so then he took it back because it sounds like she said he requested to follow her, not even that they were actually following each other.
Well, then she said that, and then you unfollowed me. So it seems like she allowed it. So she would have
Oh, yeah.
seen some of his photos, at least one of them, which is why she's asking. And I think she didn't even, and I know a lot of this is kind of edited and cut and chopped up, but it seemed like she didn't even want to go back and forth with him too much. She just wanted to ask, do you have this picture in front of a Christmas tree with a drink? And he was
Mhm.
like, no, I have a fireplace, no drink.
Right.
So what does that mean? I need to know.
I mean, yeah, is it the same photo? Did she only see like a thumbnail? Like, I mean, if maybe his profile was private, I don't know. I'm confused by that too. Um, she is keeping track, which is weird. And that, you know what? I can see where it's kind of like weird. It's weird that she's keeping track to me of like the follow unfollow thing. Like if you let somebody follow you, how do you know they unfollowed you? You don't get a notification for that or anything. So I do think
Yeah.
that part is a little strange. I don't think it's weird though that she's remembering a photo.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's just something that's stuck in her mind, and then now this guy looks like that guy, so now she's
Mhm.
freaking herself out. She's on the
A good
show.
point
She might have
about
saw the season with Uche. She might have thought this man was following her.
I think so. Good point though about keeping track. I mean, you don't know when someone unfollows you. So how would you know that you followed and unfollowed me unless there was some other strange things going on, like maybe there was a strange DM and then he unfollowed her. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
there's more to the story here that we don't have yet to
we
make
need
it make
more.
more sense why she thinks he has bad intentions. But otherwise, I think maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was a coincidence because it does happen. You do see people locally and add them on Instagram and socials. That's normal.
Yeah, what was she really gonna do if he was like, I might know what you're talking about, but I didn't realize that was you. I feel like that could be just as plausible. Like he could have been like, I don't really know what you mean, but I know I follow girls on Instagram that I find attractive, and
Right.
could have been you, but because I don't think guys sometimes have that kind of awareness, like
Yeah.
because he could have very well
Some
followed
guys,
her.
I feel like, just go on a following rampage sometimes, just trying to, like,
And if they
cast a
had
net,
mutual
you know?
friends, that's how he found her. Like
Yeah.
who's to say?
That's how my husband found me, he was casting a net of mutual friends, and he happened to catch a fish. He
And he
was.
caught a fish.
Uh-huh.
He caught
He
himself.
and then he even hopped in my DMs, "Don't I know you?" I was like, "No, you don't, but we do have, like, 77 mutual friends, so I'm surprised."
Surprise!
Surprise! Let's get to
Surprise!
know each other.
Surprise!
You wanna get married.
And you went to the same high school. That didn't hurt.
We lived down the street from each other. He had to drive past my grandma's house where I lived just to get to school because of the one-ways right there.
Yeah,
That's how he came from his neighborhood. My street was the only connection to the
right.
one-ways. I saw him drive with his little high school girlfriend every day.
Yeah.
I was driving right behind him.
You were?
Yeah. We followed each other to school all the time. I was
Every
like, "Hey,
day.
that's that blonde kid," and I used to call his girlfriend at the time Horseface because we knew her, long-faced girl.
Is she the one that turned out to be a lesbian?
No, that was a different one.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of her husband's ex-girlfriends are now lesbians.
Mhm. Yeah. It's
So,
true. Yeah, he's
yeah.
very good at eating the cat.
Oh, wow. So Australian says, do you think she will stay with him? You know what? I think no. You know why I think no? I think
I
either
don't know
way
if she's even gonna make it to vacation. Sorry.
yeah, I think she's tainted her mind now to where even if it's not him, she's now convinced herself that it is him. And if it is him, then she gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So I think she's kind of freaked herself out a little bit. Yeah, I almost thought this little confessional. I know that we heard in the trailer that this was gonna kind of go down, like that somebody might have known somebody or whatever. But I was almost assuming she was gonna tell me she just wasn't attracted to him or something, you know. And I was
That's
waiting for
what
that.
I think he thought he was sitting down for, was the "you're too short for me" conversation.
Yeah, like I don't know about this man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, kind of what Zach went through with Irina or whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess we're gonna have to wait for a few days to figure out, is he the profile or not?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I really hope that they just bring out the phones and we can expose this now, because I don't want to
At this
spend
point,
all
why
of
not?
vacation, if she does go on vacation, just with this back and forth. Is it you or not you? Her being in her
Yeah.
head, all of that. I don't want that.
Well, they get their phones back in Mexico, right? So why not just bring
No,
out the phones right
they don't
now?
get their phones back until they go back home.
Oh, well, I think, yeah, I think like you said, I think they can make an exception for this.
I
And
hope so.
I think even a producer can just come out with the phone and be like, we looked up his profile and this
Of
is
course,
these are
they've
his
been on his
profiles.
Instagram. I mean, maybe they can even just come out and say, look, these are the pictures we know are on his Instagram, and just describe them and say he has nothing with a Christmas tree since 2012, or he has a Christmas tree and that was his profile last year, or, just confirm or deny. I
Mhm.
think maybe she can trust them, because, of course, they've been through their socials.
Mhm. Yeah.
If they don't want to give them their phones back and stuff right away, maybe that's a good way. But I hope that they don't just leave this for them to figure out. Because if that's the case, I don't think they're even going to make it to the vacation. And if they do, they're not going to make it past the vacation, because it's just going to simmer in a bad way.
I will say kudos to them though for making themselves like the main storyline now. Like all of a sudden, like we went through 6 episodes of barely seeing them, if at all,
True.
and then all of a sudden they're the ones with drama. So
She was giving kind of star energy to me, though, from the beginning. I don't know what it was. I just felt kind of naturally attracted to her story whenever she was on the screen. I kind of perked
mhm.
up a little bit. So I'm happy that she's probably going to be the one that I'm most entertained by. But if she dips out before vacation because of all this stuff, then I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be around. It's only for you chick chatters that I'm going to continue on, if that's the case.
Yeah, honestly. So let's go through and see what couples we have left standing. So obviously we have these two here. So let's count how many couples that is. So that's one.
It's five.
Is it 5 in total?
Five
We're
if
gonna
we're
see
lucky,
them.
or if the last two don't make it.
Yep. So,
Yep,
and
that's
honestly, that's
Virginia and what's his name?
Fabio. And then we have who else? Yeah, we have what's her nuts? You guys get to see all the
That's Sarah.
photos.
We have Sarah and Ben, yeah.
Her and Ben, and then we have those two. And I thought there was one more. Oh, them. But
Yeah, there's five total.
yeah. All right, chick chat. Well, I guess we're gonna
And the
see
couples
come
that were
Friday.
not,
And the couples that wasn't. I guess
those
we're
were
gonna
all my
see.
favorites. I'm so disappointed.
I'm disappointed kind of with this season in general. But then again, like I've been saying, Love is Blind's kind of dying for me when it comes to just the show in general. I have a lot more excitement for Queer Love when that comes out, for the
Mhm.
ultimatum. I'm really excited for that. I just think, and I'm gonna be sad if that season isn't giving because I've been just waiting for it for
You've
a
been
damn year.
holding out all your hope for that season. Yeah, no, I
Like
know.
2
I don't know.
years.
I'm always I'm pretty committed. I always sync with all the dying ships of reality TV shows. That's why we've both watched Teen Mom and Sister Wives for so long. Although I jumped on the Sister Wives fan train a little late, but yeah, it's always hard for me to say that a show is dying, but I think at least this season is just
Crickets.
it's really hard to get through. I've actually never experienced a Love is Blind, and you're right, there's been boring seasons, but I've never experienced this where I mean, I sat on that couch on Saturday and I felt like I was doing a service for our 769 subscribers because otherwise it wouldn't have happened.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have. I mean, honestly, I almost debated on us even covering it. I think it just depended on how interesting it was gonna be, but,
Thank
not
God for the
really.
ending part, or I would have been like, no, we'll talk about the weddings maybe, possibly, if there is one.
Mhm. If there is any.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to say that it's dying, but I think it's just because it's so oversaturated. I mean, you got Love is Blind Brazil, Love is Blind China, Love is Blind. I mean, there's so many options now for Love is Blind. You can watch it in any format in a way.
Yeah.
And with Teen Mom, there's really only like one version of Teen Mom. With Sister Wives, there's only Sister Wives. So at least, even though those are really long standing shows, that do get hard to watch. I mean, there are many episodes of those that are hard to watch, but I think because we're not getting a new cast every
Well, we're
season.
not getting 6 episodes in a row that we have to
Yeah.
watch either. I think that was really what just sort of drained me, to be honest, was I was thinking we'd get the usual 4 or something, and then they'd sort of trickle the rest of them down, but to get 6 episodes of just straight up pods and none of it was really that interesting, and I usually get frustrated when I see a lot of YouTubers sort of like ripping shows and saying this is boring or the show sucks or whatever. I get kind of frustrated about it because it's like, why are you covering it then? But I think that
Mhm.
this was so dry.
Yeah.
I'm so thirsty. It's like the Sahara.
I'm so thirsty.
Please, somebody give me a drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not like having it this season. I don't know. I had to like I tried watching it on Saturday and then I couldn't get through episode 1.
User
And
Alien
then
said, I'm glad I'm not the only one for it. They
you
wanted to
having a stroke over there?
leave us on a cliffhanger like Love is Blind.
Thank you so much for the cliffhanger there. But no, you're not the only one that was bored. I just think we've seen it all already on this show, and a big bland cast of white people really, really ain't cutting it for me this season. I think
Very
there's no
vanilla.
drama. I mean, the drama's all gone. I mean, we have one last little hope of drama. I just really hope that some things pop up. And I think more things are going to pop up between Dave and Lauren. I think that they'll have more of a eye-catching storyline, but yeah, I'm not very hopeful. I really don't think many of these couples should be married. I mean, some of them should be engaged, but not
I
married.
think
I
the only
think
thing I can really hope for now is that they shorten the vacation, which I'm usually very much looking forward to seeing, so that we can see more of
the
the
rest.
back at home and the cast being together and maybe some of that drama play out. But I mean, I
Y'all
don't know.
know when I watch this cast party, I'm gonna be looking for this square, like more so than the actual people who are engaged.
I am too. Those are
Like
the people I want. I'm just mad. I'm mad. I want to throw the season away because those 4 people didn't get engaged.
I
What?
don't, I
And
don't.
why do we follow them so much?
Hmm.
Because they were the drama, but why can't they stick around? I'm just upset.
I don't blame you because I was upset too. I was like, this is so hard to watch, and I had to watch most of these episodes this morning. Man, it just felt like I was pulling my own teeth. Like,
Yeah. I
and I
know
was
when
really.
you were texting me, I'm like, she's not watching this. There's no way she's involved in this deeply in a conversation with me and also watching Love is Blind for the first time.
Oh, I
But you
was.
were because it was that dry.
It was just that dry to me. I was in a bunch of pod scenes and stuff, and I don't know. It just,
It
yeah.
just dragged on and on and on. The pods that never ended.
The best thing to me about the pods was when homie was flossing his teeth. Like Fabio, I love Fabio though. I will say Fabio Tarzan couple, whatever. I think they're gonna be the best couple out of this, like that actually ends up married, possible. I guess we're
Possible.
gonna
It
see
looked
what
like in the
happens.
little preview that she was hesitating a little bit, but obviously it's a big decision.
Yeah, I think they're always gonna show us that. Remember when they showed us Amy hesitating and stuff
They're
like
the only ones that they've shown us in the preview, though, for sure, that even make it to the wedding day. I know there probably are others, of course, but they're the only faces that we've seen on a wedding day. And it looks like the wedding day is a blizzard.
I think that they end up married in a way because I don't know. Netflix just has this like fetish with like the first couple that gets engaged is
They
also the
do.
first to get
Yep.
married. So,
Hmm.
so yeah,
They
I
have,
mean,
I think, the best chances of getting married for sure.
yeah.
But what if nobody on this season gets married? Has
I
that
wouldn't be
ever happened? I don't
surprised.
think it has.
No, but it should have a few
It
times.
should have. I think even last season it should have, right?
I think last season we got one or two.
I
Did we
think
get
two.
two? We did get two last season. I'm thinking about the season before. Season before, I think we got one, and the season before that, I think we got one. But at least those marriages seem realistic to me in a way. Like a lot of them that have gotten married, like remember Ayana and Jarrett, I didn't think that was really gonna last. There's some that I was just like, I mean, y'all are
Well,
just getting
Ashley and
married.
Tyler this last season, like, what in the world were y'all doing? What in the
Oh
world? What
yeah,
the hell?
and now they're getting divorced. Which,
Duh.
girl, you're way too late on that. Like
She's way too late on that. Nobody even cares now.
after
Nobody
she stood
cares.
up for that man on
Yeah.
podcast after podcast.
Yeah. No, thank you, girl.
No, thank you, girl. I thought she was gonna end up pregnant at that
Lay a
reunion, so I was
Tammy
very
Wynette,
relieved.
drive off
Totally.
into the sunset.
I was relieved when that girl wasn't pregnant at the reunion because that's what I thought they were setting up for because she was just defending him so hard. I was like, "You
Yeah.
defending your baby
Well, he
daddy?"
wanted to get her pregnant. He said that at the wedding. So he
Mhm.
was ready for the trap.
That's why I thought that. Is
Hmm.
because he said that, and he was like, "Oh well, I
Yeah.
definitely can make a few kids. I know it's
I
not
know, and
me."
that was the week that we were all learning about what happened, was the week that the weddings dropped. See, that's what I want to see, some drama, some juicy stuff. I was
Mhm.
overhydrated. I was exerted. I
I was
was
almost
drowning in
excited
the
when
hydration.
I was almost hoping he would pick the lesbian girl, and I was hoping that there may be some drama with that, like some,
Possible
because that there was
something.
lesbian drama with Tyler last time. I'm ready for
Yeah.
some more.
Yeah,
That's
give
why I
me a
need queer
little
love back.
juice.
That's why I need queer love back, y'all. Y'all will see us for queer love. I mean, go episode by episode for that bitch.
We'll see. We'll see.
We're gonna see. But it is coming because last time we covered Ultimatum, it said that Queer Love was coming, and I just if the Lachey's could need anything, it's gonna be Queer Love to keep them afloat
They
because
said back in May. It was back in May that it got renewed, so it's almost been a year. So
mhm,
we've got to be hearing about it soon. I'm sure it's the next
I think it's gonna be
of
after
this
this.
flavor of shows for Netflix to come out, but yeah, I'm excited. I know that they also already filmed a Perfect Match with some people. I don't know if that will
Mhm.
ever see the light of day, but I know that that's somewhere waiting for us. So I'm sure we won't film that one as extensively, but I'm sure we'll cover it because
Probably
it's got
live.
all of our faves.
Yeah, yeah. And if there's any shows that you guys want us to look into, I mean, right now we're gonna be a little bit busy. We have Gypsy coming up in March. We have
Teen
Sister
Mom
Wives
that
just
we're
finished.
covering.
Yep, Sister Wives had their mid-season break, but when they come back up, we'll have them. We still do our stories of the week, although they're a little bit further in between right now because I have so much editing to catch up on. But we also have Teen Mom, like you said. So yeah, we're covering quite a few shows. But if
Yeah,
there is anything that you guys really want us to talk about, you can always leave us a suggestion. We can think it over.
consider it.
Consider it. Consider
Consider
it.
it considered.
Consider it considered.
Yeah.
Unlike Daniel, I don't think he's gonna be considered anymore.
No, unfortunately, no. But we shall see. I really want them to stick around just because I want to see it. But
I need more couples than four couples, especially if two of those couples are pretty unproblematic, which they are. I think the Fabio couple's unproblematic, and I definitely think oh the basketball love is a little unproblematic for me as well. So
yeah, I think that they'll be pretty cute as long as they can connect. I think
mhm.
dude really is seeking some emotional connection, and she admits that she doesn't try very hard in relationships. So I hope she can try a little hard.
Yeah.
We'll see how things go. I'm excited to see some of these couples play out and the challenges that they face, but I just don't think they're going to face very many challenges that we haven't seen. So
Yeah.
I'm not at the edge of my seat by any
No.
means.
I'm
So,
just
but
here.
we'll
I'm
be
here.
here.
I hope maybe we get a little bit of a twist or something. Maybe Netflix has something in store for us. Maybe we'll get a little twist. Maybe we'll get like one of those non-couples back. Maybe they'll decide to change their mind, or I don't know. But
I would love to have a Megan Mason moment or a Madison and Mason moment. Madison's gonna show up with like some crazy pink hair trying to accuse Mason of being a liar or something. So
was
I'm
that in
here.
the trailer?
Yeah, I'm here for the drama that's to come, but I just don't think
What
we're
did
gonna
he
get it next
lie
week.
about? Like the only thing he lied about, I'd be if I was Meg, I'd be madder than Madison. I mean, come on, girl.
I would too. Because that really, I think that was her man.
But I guess we will see, and we'll
Yeah,
be back next time.
we'll
Chick
be
Chat.
back
You'll
to
get this
report.
next week. I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna be next Tuesday, but you'll definitely see us next week covering it. So.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We're kind of just fitting it in where we can get it in. We might even cover it on Friday, maybe in the evening, just since there's not as many episodes dropped. But I don't know. We'll be around at some point. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah, once especially once we get down to like 1 or 2 episodes, like we'll definitely be going live on Fridays. But yeah, for the moment, definitely keep tabs on us, especially if you are interested in any of our other content. If you follow Gypsy Rose or anything like that, that is coming. So and
Yeah,
subscribe.
so don't forget to like our video. If you're watching on the rewatch, drop a comment. Let us know that you're watching on the rewatch. Maybe give us what kind of emoji should they drop?
Let's drop. Well, it's Love is Blind, so let's drop a heart.
Okay, whatever color is your favorite color.
Whatever color. We're not even picky. Purple would be great because it's more of our Chick Chat color. But
and thank you to everyone who has watched live with us. I know this is not the most convenient time in the world in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, so thanks for stopping what you're doing or just listening to us while you're doing your regular routine. Especially you, user alien. You always
are the
come through for us.
MVP.
You are an OG.
Although you haven't been in the last, couple of premieres, I've noticed. Usually
Yes. Well, we're happy to have you here today, though. It was really nice chatting with you and, getting a sense of how other people are feeling too.
We know you're not a Daniel fan, but we're going to see where this goes next week.
Came for Daniel. You said, I didn't miss
it. Yeah. So definitely come back next week, user alien, so you can see the to be continued with Daniel and see if your theory's right or if Brooke's theory's right. I'm a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, I'm here for all of it. I really am. I just need something to happen.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're catching us right now, it looks like we do have a few viewers that just popped in. We are at the end of our video. Definitely rewind to see the whole recap. But yeah, we will catch you guys next week. Remember to like, subscribe, share, reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna. And see you next week.
Goodbye.
Hopefully we get better episodes, for God's sakes. Bye.